Hi, and welcome to our group presentation on BP's ethical analysis group report in Group 3.
BP is a British-owned public limited multinational oil and gas company based in London. BP's mission statement states that in all their activities, we seek to display some unchanging fundamental qualities: integrity, honest dealing, treating everyone with respect and dignity, striving for mutual advantage, and contributing to human progress. They were established in the UK since 1909, and they've been successfully operating for over 100 years. As of February the 5th, 2020, the current CEO is Bernard Looney, as an oil company in the world with a revenue of $230.7 billion. BP have invested a large amount of capital into renewable projects, which demonstrates how BP operate based on Edward Freeman's stakeholder theory, as it demonstrates how highly they value sustainability, as they consider their stakeholders who value the environment highly. Although they describe themselves as a company that prides themselves as responsible and professional, their repeated pattern of ethically questionable behavior is otherwise. For decades, they've been responsible for explosions and leaks such as the Texas explosion and the Deepwater Horizon oil spill.
BP has had quite an unethical past and has been involved in a few controversies. On March 23rd of 2005, a series of explosions occurred in Texas in a refinery distillation tower, leading to 15 workers getting killed and 180 getting injured. This is an example of BP's unethical practices, as they knew that the lifespan of the pipes was 25 years, and they had been installed in 1977 but did not replace them. This is an example of how BP is using egoism theory based upon immoral principles of selfishness and corporate greed, considering its own benefits, and they do not take into account the negative effects of the rest of the society. Carroll argues that the economic responsibility of companies is required. In fact, the first responsibility of business is to be a well-functioning economic unit. However, a company of the size of BP, who specialize in extremely dangerous oil harvesting business, should inherently recognize their ethical responsibilities beyond the line of legal expectation. The use of egoism theory is also seen by BP when they were convicted for felony because of the violation of the Clean Air Act, costing $50 million. A three-year probation alongside of that, and being fined by OSHA for $87 million due to 270 safety violations and 439 new ones. BP also has 148 pipes on the North Slope that have received an F rank. Once again, the principle of self-interest is considered as the basis of morality. It seems that BP struggles to balance reducing costs without violating laws and showing complete disregard for their own ethical beliefs expressed in the Code of Conduct document. One of the safety violations include the oil spill in Alaska, which was the worst oil leak in the history of the North Slope. The last and most important CSR committed by BP was the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, which occurred in the Gulf of Mexico in April 2010. This lasted 3 months and led to numerous deaths and left more than 10,000 local people unemployed. This is the most evident example of how BP prioritizes egoist and ethical theories over normative consequentialist utilitarianism. This is clear since they did not take the necessary precautions to ensure everyone's safety, as they did not include enough cement casting and the 9 to 8-inch protection casting, which led to the spill.
BP's ethics of duty, where power comes responsibility. BP's most important issue is its failure to take full responsibility for their unethical actions. For example, Deepwater Horizon, which subsequently lost the company's credibility and damaged their overall brand equity. Immanuel Kant argued that the supreme principle of morality is a standard of rationality that he dubbed the categorical imperative. By failing to admit to their faults that led to the oil spill, BP acted irrationally. John Rawls' theory of justice implies that social and economic inequalities are to be arranged to ensure the greatest goal for the greatest number of people, whilst ensuring liberty for all. Critics would argue that BP should have taken a non-consequentialist ethical approach, favouring on the side of ethics of duty and ethics of justice, rather than overtly expressing their clear consequentialist schools of thought, specifically egoist ethical philosophies, by failing to take full responsibility for the oil spill. BP's delayed response has damaged their brand equity. BP made the crucial mistake of not immediately taking full responsibility for the tragic oil spill, and therefore delayed their response to reduce the situation. rescue the situation. Sorry. The company relied on denial of responsibility rationalization tactics in their response to the disaster, claiming that they were not guilty of a systematic pattern of safety and environmental failures. The company's efforts to alleviate the damage included huge investments in low-carbon assets, including wind and solar, aligning with utilitarianistic ethical beliefs. The action is morally right if it results in the greatest amount of good for the greatest amount of people. However, some critics and stakeholders may just view these new policies as a poor attempt of greenwashing. Again, this point stresses the importance for BP to clearly outline their ethical stance and immediately take responsibility for any mistakes they may make.
The best theory that BP can adapt to in the future is the normative and utilitarian theory. This focuses on the collective welfare rather than individuals. By adopting this stance, BP will allow themselves to morally make integral decisions that simultaneously benefit the shareholders and stakeholders. The Deepwater Horizon explosion in Mexico resulted in 11 people being killed, and then another explosion in Texas in 2005, which caused 15 people to die. These unfortunate incidents outline BP's lack of consideration for corporate social responsibility. In response to this incident, BP republished their 16-page Code of Conduct document in 2014. Although, unfortunately, these words did not reflect into action, in 2015, the company faced over 500 serious accidents. This is enough evidence to conclude there is a communication problem within BP. The ethics and morals written in the Code of Conduct document repeatedly fail to reflect into the decisions made by the company in the real world. In essence, they're just words on a piece of paper.
How BP can improve their ethical stances to enhance responsible management. BP could put additional safety measures in place to ensure workers have a safe environment to work, including more procedures during oil extraction, reinforcing their strong and ethical legal identity. This could be through ensuring that all oil rig workers are on stable platforms and in protective gear. They could acknowledge their mistakes in the past by learning from them, implementing projects towards a goal of reducing air pollution levels which can harm marine life, principle of corporate effects. PR campaigns and greenwashing. PR campaigns indicating BP being responsible for their actions may include posters, TV ads, or short messages at their petrol stations, indicating a learning curve and disaster not to repeat. Moreover, greenwashing defined by Conway in March 2014 states, quote, stakeholders might accuse a company of greenwashing when a company creates a misleading impression of its social, environmental, or ethical performance. An independent news article from 2019 indicates BP being accused of greenwashing by, quote, potentially misleading impressions of switching directly from oil to renewable resources. BP must carefully rebrand all green new policies as a direct response to their unethical past to avoid future greenwashing accusations.
Conclusions and final recommendations for BP. BP have made unethical decisions in their recent past that hurt the environment and failed to reflect their values mentioned in their Code of Conduct. We believe BP should slowly integrate utilitarian ethical policies and ideologies into their company's core culture. This can be achieved through ethics-based mission statements and up-to-date ethical auditing for working practices. In addition to the strict ethical regulations, you can significantly reduce the risk of another tragic and devastating oil spill. Although BP has publicly listed its 5 core values, including safety, respect, excellence, courage, and one team, we recommend they also add the phrases responsibility and morality. In addition to this, we recommend that they introduce a policy where every employee from the CEO to the janitor of the company has to read and will be tested on the BP Code of Conduct.
Thank you for listening to our presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Thank you.